Hi, everyone. This is Tinu Pena. Hope everyone is doing well today. Um, I am so excited to be back on the Women on the Move channel to discuss about legacy, and to discuss wealth legacy. And today we're going to be looking at business structures. Before I get started, I would like to affirm the platform which I am communicating to you guys from. So Women on the Move is a global women's empowerment network that is dedicated to fostering a digital environment where professionals can collectively share, engage, collaborate, and connect with other global-minded women in various industries with the purpose of enterprise creation, growth, and development. We promote social networking to help women achieve their dreams at a much faster rate with higher results. We are inclusive. We're an inclusive environment to all women from all walks of life. Please don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, such as Instagram, YouTube, and of course, Facebook and LinkedIn. So if you're joining me now, I will much appreciate that you affirm that you are a woman on the move like I am by, sending me some hearts. Send me a few hearts so that I know that you are joining me today. And if you can hear me loud and clear, do send me some likes as well and tag a friend to join us. So before we get started in today's topic, which is basically business structure, I wanted to recap briefly the previous discussion we had, which was basically on how to engage your children in the business. So I spoke on 3 key items, which I'm going to go over real quickly with you guys. So first and foremost, when you're thinking of your business and you want to pulling your kids into that business environment, the first thing you must do is create that business mindset, not just for yourself, but also for your kids. You also want to develop a business strategy that encompasses your children's talents as well as your talents, so that as the business grows, you two can pull in your children and engage them to be a part of the business. And last but not least, ensuring that as you are growing your business, you are actually including your children in the process of decision making and developing your business, so that they can also buy into the vision itself from the onset. Hello, everyone. Hi, thank you for joining. I see Jasira, Monique has joined. Latricia Henry, thank you for coming on. Daphne, hi. How are you? So without further ado, I want to go into today's topic, which is basically talking about business structures. And I know this platform is for women all over the world. So just keep in mind that some of these structures might not be applicable to your city, state, country. So just take it with a grain of salt. This is just a conversation I'm having about, once you get that business idea and you want to make it legal, how do you go about doing that? And also, what kind of structure will best suit you, the business type the business you're looking to develop. Thank you, Jasira. I can't see you, but I am just gonna say you look amazing as well. So in Florida here, there are about 6 business structures that are that are recognized by the Florida corporation here. And the first one is sole proprietorship, which is basically one person starting a business and they actually have all the liabilities and debt associated with the business tied to them. So that's the basic business structure you will encounter. The other structures you will encounter in the business arena is partnership, general partnership, limited partnership, limited liability company, and corporation. So I'm going to delve in a little bit further into the different structures, and I'm going to first of all talk about corporation, because that is the largest umbrella in which a business can establish itself. And when you're looking at your business, you definitely want to think about what is the purpose of your business and how can it best serve you and those that are engaged with you, so that the liabilities are shared, or whether the liabilities are transferred to someone else. So when you're looking at a corporation in itself is an independent entity. So you as the business owner, you incorporate your business, you are not literally the entity in itself. Your business has its own identity. So it separates any, and it separates you from any basically liabilities that might be associated with the business. But essentially, this business do have shareholders in which, if the management changes, it no longer means that the business dies, but it just basically means that leadership can change so the business can continue to thrive. The owners do have a very limited liability. So say for instance, the business really didn't work out, and at the end of the day there are some financial liabilities, that are some financial debts that are left over, and they are looking to recoup that. Whomever your financiers are, they cannot literally come after you, but whatever the assets owned by the business are basically on the chopping block. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what business structure you want to go in with your business. So I'm going to move to limited liability companies. Is a very common formation that you see in Florida, and they call it the LLC. Like corporation, it is the liability are not solely carried by the individuals that form the company. So the slight difference between them is that the corporation, your tax structure is different from a liability, an LLC. So that's kind of the thing that differentiates them. But from a debt perspective, they are very similar in that you would not be personally liable for the financial debt of your company. Your business entity will. So also in an LLC, in comparison to a corporation, LLCs are not required to hold stockholder meetings, whereas a corporation is required to hold stockholder meetings. And that basically means that you have to meet on a regular basis if you own a corporation, and you have to do all these reportings and whatnot. Whereas if you have an LLC, you can have your meetings, but you don't have to have it as regularly and do all the reporting like a corporation would do. One of the things that also, if you have an LLC, that is very beneficial for you to have is also your operating agreement, and that defines how you carry on your business in the event you want to change management or you want to exit the business. And I did discuss that in the previous conversation when I talked about, business and how to engage your children in that. So if you want to look at that video, you can check that one out where I discuss further about that. So with LLC, another thing that differentiated from a corporation is that you can form a single member LLC or a multiple member LLC. So a single member LLC, you might say, oh, why don't you form a sole proprietorship, which I'm going to talk about later. Just the premise of the structure in itself, the single member LLC does not function like a sole proprietor. It basically functions like an LLC, which is similar but not exactly like a corporation. So you have some protection against your personal property being used to pay off debt. So that's why if you want to form a business, going the LLC route is much more preferred than doing the sole proprietorship. And I'll discuss that later. So for me, what I did the multiple member LLC, and I have my kids on as board members. So that's how I formed my LLC. So I'm going to talk a little bit about partnership. So a partnership basically exists when two or more individuals come together to form a business. They share the liability equally, and they share everything from the decision making to every business concern is shared in a partnership. Be it the profit, the loss, the liabilities, the debt in the partnership, it is shared. There's also another partnership type called general partnership. The difference between this one and just a regular partnership is that the partnership here, all the partners have rights and responsibility that are divided amongst themselves. However, they all can act on behalf of the partnership, and they're all liable for the decision made by whomever makes the decision. So that carries a little bit of a higher risk, in my opinion. I wouldn't want someone, if I'm in a partnership, for someone to just make a decision that can affect all of us. So I would think twice. But if you are going to form a general partnership, you definitely want to define the terms of those decision-making processes amongst yourself before you sign that dotted line to form that type of structure. So I'm going to talk about the limited partnership. So the limited partnership is a partnership that is composed of both general and limited partners. So this type of partnership allows each partner to determine how his or her limits or personal liability is set in the business. So unlike the general partnership that I discussed previously, limited partners are not responsible for the partner's actions. So any decision made, if you're a limited partner, you bear no responsibility. So that is, I would say, a preferred route for me in the event that if I were to go into a partnership, I would rather, have one that has limited. I would want to have be a partner that has limited responsibility in comparison to having that overall, responsibility of someone else's decision. So, but that's a personal choice. So when you're thinking about your business, you definitely want to think about what works for you in your circumstance and how you envision your business moving forward. Last but not least is sole proprietorship. And this is the simplest form of a business structure in which one person is basically the business owner. And here, all the liability responsibilities are held by the sole owner. And generally in sole proprietorship, you see people's, their name, they use their name to as their business name. And then in instances where you have people that don't use their names and they're a sole proprietor, they will actually have to file what is called a fictitious name in order to function as a different name other than their actual name in a sole proprietorship. So that's basically the various different structures we have here in Florida. And I am going to take some questions for anyone that has a question. Jasira, do you have a question about the business structures? I want this to be an interactive type of discussion. So let me know if you have a question. Go ahead and type it in. I will give you a moment. So I'm typing a question to you all, and I'm basically asking, what would you think would be a good business structure for you if you're starting off in your business and you decide you want to become legal? Like I said, people can go the sole proprietorship route, or you can go the, oh, I have some questions. Hold on. Let me scroll down. Hey, Trinette, how are you? Let me see if there's any questions. I'm scrolling down. Hi, Karen. Hi, Daphne. Thanks for coming back on. So my question to you all is, if you were to start your business today and you're thinking of the structures, I talked about 6 structures, which is sole proprietorship, partnership, general partnership, limited liability partnership, limited liability company, and corporation. What structure would you choose? For my business, like I said, I chose an LLC. Oh, thank you, Trinette. So Trinette just asked, what are the benefits for LLC versus S Corp? So S Corp is similar in structure to a C Corp, which is generally a corporation. And S Corp in itself is used for the tax basis, as in how much liability will the business owner in the LLC own. So when you see businesses that are forming as S corp, they're forming as S corp because in that state they can form as S corp straight off the bat. Whereas in some instances, you're like in Florida, you can form a corporation. However, it's not determined whether it's a C or S corp. Your tax liability determines whether you're a C or S corp. And how you go about determining whether you're a C or an S corp is basically having that conversation with your accountant to determine how you are going to move forward with your tax liabilities. So like I was saying, with an LLC, one of the good things is that, like, even though they're similar to, incorporating as a corporation, you can actually choose your tax liability in whichever format you want. So you can go C or S. And so basically, it's advised that if you have an LLC, you want to, for your tax liability, you want to go S corp so that you are not carrying on those tax liabilities, and it's split between the members of the LLC. So in essence, whether you form as an LLC and you want to make sure your tax liability is that of an S corp, that would be the benefit of forming an LLC. However, in Florida, forming an S corp doesn't really do much for you, other than it's an S corp versus a C corp. Whereas if you still have the same benefit if you formed a LLC and you have your tax base as an S corp. I hope that makes sense. But always consult an accountant when you want to determine what tax structure you should use for your business, especially if you have an LLC. And also talk to an attorney whenever you determine you want to go ahead and register your business, so you advise accordingly and choose the right business structure that will best serve you and your business. So let me see if there's another question. Just 1 minute. I'm scrolling. Oh, I thought I was scrolling. Let me use the mouse here. Okay. Let me go back. I think Daphne had a question. It will depend on the type of business that you're forming and the size, right? I knew that I had to look at different tax benefits as well. Yes, and I'm assuming the question you're asking, Daphne, is the type of business that you're forming and the size is heavily dependent on the tax benefits. I won't say the size, I'll basically say the structure. Your business type does not really define much, because your business, and okay, let me just backtrack. I'm assuming that you mean business type, you're talking about your business structure. Your business structure does determine how your tax benefits or liabilities are shared or determined. And that's why you always want to consult an accountant to make sure you are filing your taxes correctly and you've actually chosen the tax benefit that works best for your business. I have another question. Okay, so you're confirming yes. Yes, like I said, your business structure, the size really doesn't play a huge role in what your tax, as far as what type of tax liability. It just kind of plays a role when it comes to determining which tax, which tax benefit you would gain. So for instance, had I just filed straight as an LLC, which I did, and I actually had to go back and fix all my taxes because I then brought an accountant on and she looked through all my books and she said, for what I do, it will best serve my business if I chose my tax structure as an S corporation. So hence we went back and fixed everything. That's why it's very important to engage professionals that do this for a living. I know we sometimes want to save money, but in the long run, we end up spending more money fixing the mistakes we've made because that's not our area of specialty. So I would say definitely consult an attorney and also talk to your accountant. There are accountants that would do your bookkeeping and provide financial advice at a very good price so that you as a small business that are just starting off, you're not carrying all that financial burden that you have to keep as part of your overhead. And that will help you kind of get through the infancy stage of your business. Let me see if there are any more questions. Okay, I don't have any more questions. Anybody else? So Daphne, can you tell me what business you're in? Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay, so I have no more questions, so I'm gonna wrap it up. So I basically gonna recap of what I just initially talked about. So today we just went over briefly the different business structures that are available to you here in Florida, and there are 6 primary business structures available to you. We have the sole proprietorship, we have the general liability, we have the limited liability, general partnership, we have the limited liability partnership, we have the partnership, and then we have the limited liability company, and then we have the corporation. Questions that arise that I had to just help clarify was in regards to the difference between an LLC and an S Corp. Generally, an LLC and an S Corp can be somewhat of a fused entity when you're looking at your tax structure for your business. As an LLC, you actually can file taxes as an S Corp. So that's a great benefit to you. And a question was asked in regards to size and business structure. Does that play a huge role in determining what your business should be structured as? And I will have to say no, because huge corporations can be LLCs, and so it really doesn't define how your the size doesn't really define what structure of business you should have for your business, but it does help you. The size just kind of determines just the size of your business, being that if you how many employees you have and whatnot, and then that will be helpful when it comes to oh, I see a question coming in. Sorry, I have a commercial cleaning company. Is it an S Corp? So a commercial cleaning company is just a company in itself, regardless of whatever industry you're in. So the question I will ask you, are you the only one that makes decisions in regards to your company? If you're the only one and you say you think you want to keep it as a sole proprietorship, then I would suggest you form a sole proprietorship. But then if you form a sole proprietorship, all your taxes will have to be filed under your personal taxes, because the business is actually a part of who you are, extension of you basically. Whereas if you form a single member LLC, it is just you still. However, you're considered a business in itself, and your liabilities are separated from your personal property. So no one can come after your personal property in the event your business closes and you have debt you have to take care of. So I would say if you're the sole owner of your business, I highly would suggest that you explore looking at an LLC, be a single or multiple member, and you can bring your children on as members and help teach them how the business works. And for your tax structure, you can choose an S Corp to enjoy the same benefits like a corporation. Excuse me. Any more questions? Okay, Daphne, I hope that answered your question. I am going to wrap up now, and I just have a quick announcement to make. So if you live in Palm Beach County and you are available June 23rd from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., I would like to invite you to come and enjoy my foundation's author showcase, which is showcasing local female authors. We're going to have some refreshments. Other young professionals are going to be there, Come and network, come and support the vendors that are going to be there. Come and enjoy yourself and get to learn about these authors, the journeys they've taken thus far, and why they decided to write their stories. So go to www.banwofoundation.org and purchase your ticket today. It's only $25, but if you want a $5 discount, you type in the discount code RISE, R-I-S-E. We all rise together, and you get $5 off. So I look forward to the next series where I will talk about S Corp as it relates to tax benefits and whatnot. So I'm going to do my research on that and come and share what I've learned with you guys. And as always, let's keep being on the move as women on the move. And I look forward to talking to you guys again. Oh, before I check off, I see someone said something here. Oh, hi, Trinette. Thank you for getting a ticket. Appreciate you. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful Saturday, and thank you for coming on board and chatting with me. And I will see you next time when we talk about tax benefits, and I'll delve more into that so that I can continue to engage you so we can all be growing together and empowering each other to be the best versions of ourselves. So have a nice weekend. Bye.